guys, Underground Geek here. It's here. It's finally here. We find out who Mr. Oz is. So if you don't want to know, if you haven't read the book yet and you don't want to know, go ahead and don't watch this video. But please hit the thumbs up anyway. Just kidding. But spoiler alert, it's going to tell who Mr. Oz is. So if you don't want to see it, don't watch the end of the video. But anyway, so this is the Oz Effect Part 1. And this is what we've been getting to this entire time with Rebirth. Well, one of the things we've been getting to with Rebirth. But we start out here on this scene, and I gotta say, like, this comic is pretty dark. It's a pretty dark comic. Not lighting, not coloring. I'm just saying it's got a pretty dark concept. But anyway, so we start out in Argus, and they actually have a radioactive man like hooked up, and they're just dismantling and torturing him. It's pretty awful. I know he's a mean guy and everything, but geez, look at him. They got him all in pieces and everything. So anyway, then we cut to the next part here, and this is where Mr. Oz shows up, and he's talking to Metallo, and he says, I'm here to help you, blah, blah, blah. They start talking, and he says, if you can free me, he says, I'll free you, though not in the way you expect. Immediately I was like, oh no. So then he rips the piece of kryptonite from him. But if you'll notice something, I know he could have cut it out, but you notice how he didn't touch it? He pulled it out like that, but he didn't actually touch it. You know, why would he have to worry about that? But anyway, so then he cuts to where he's looking at Superman. He's been very consumed with Superman in the last couple of issues. At first he wasn't, but he's getting more and more concerned with him, always talking about him. He says, you will come to realize that they don't deserve you or your family. So then we cut this next scene, and there's a truck has went off a bridge. There's immunization in it. And then we get our part of our title page right here, the Oz Effect. Superman has jumped in the water to get it. Okay, and I like how they keep doing this. Superman, every time he shows up, they kind of say it in that logo style. So I kind of like that. But we get our title page here, and it's kind of broken up all around the book. But I gotta say, this comic is pretty good. I mean, it could have been better, but it does get the job done. But there are some cringe moments in here. And at first I was kind of like, because, you know, when you start throwing that SJW stuff in here, it really kind of makes me go, ugh. Now, like somebody said, it's okay if you get a little bit, it's okay. But if it's in every comic, you start to get old. It starts to get old and you start to get tired of it, because it's like every time it's poking you. But DC doesn't do it in every comic, so I guess it's okay. And if you listen to the end of the comic, they almost make fun of it, okay? So if you think about it, they do. So basically he's going around saving people, but this has all been set up by Mr. Oz. I said it again. I said Dr. Oz instead of Mr. Oz. But anyway, so this has all been set up by him, and he's trying to mess with Superman. If you'll notice, these symbols keep showing up in different places, okay? So basically then Superman has done his job. He saved the immunizations. He goes to meet up with his family that are at the Daily, is it Daily Planet? Daily Planet, yeah. And they get some little jokes here and there as they're talking to the different employees that work there. And I guess, I mean, they're drawn pretty good. It's not my favorite rendition of the characters, but it's okay. They at least show more emotion than some of the Marvel comics, but he does have a solemn voice or solemn face in every, you know, right there he's moving, but most of the time he's got just that solid face. But so then we cut back to Mr. Oz, or Mr. Oz here, and if you'll notice, look who's back here being held captive, Doomsday. So wherever he's at, he's got some kryptonite, and now he's got Doomsday. He's collecting all these things. So anyway, then he starts watching the world again. If you'll start noticing, all these symbols are showing back up, and all the mean, evil people are the ones with the symbols on them. You got poachers, you got this, that, and other. You got this guy, he's gotten fired from his job. We'll get back to that in a minute. But anyway, so at this point, you see them all starting to do the deeds. This is where it gets a little cringy. Okay, you got this guy here. You're right. If someone don't take a stand, it'll keep happening. Because right here he said, we got laid off because of them. You know, they come to this country and work for half of what we... And I was like, oh gosh. And they ain't even citizens. I'm just seeing that's the way he talks. So then everything starts happening. They kill the poor rhino. But Mr. Oz is setting all this up. He's trying to overwhelm Superman. So he's having multiple catastrophes happen at the same time. And Superman's just like, I don't know about this. Look at the thickness of his neck. Lord, somebody is swole. Look at that. Anyway. So anyway, he takes off. Boom, and he's trying to save the day from all these different things happening. And he ends up saving these people. Which I find it funny that this is the one he ends up doing. This is the mission that he ends up completing. Is this one where he's protecting the legal immigrants. But anyway, so he stops him and then he gives him a speech. He says, they stole from me. They ruined me. The only person responsible for the blackness smothering your soul is you. Oh, God. Which, you know, you shouldn't shoot people, but this is not realistic. But anyway, I mean, how many times have you seen this happen? But I know it's a comic book. Officers, make sure these people are safe and cared for, and I have to go. Anything you say, Superman. Boom. But this right here, I was like, oh gosh, really, DC, don't become Marvel. So then, in doing that, so in saving the illegal immigrants, he actually fails to complete all these other deals. Everything else, you know, fails. He doesn't even save the poor rhino. So then, he gets to the next mission. The people have died. They've gotten killed. It's a very sad scene. He then is very angry. He goes after them, but at the same time, they're shooting them and blowing them up. So it's complete chaos at this point. All these things are happening. He says, why? Why would you do this to each other? And then that's when Mr. Oz shows up and says, you should have realized that by now. These people don't deserve you. They haven't since the moment you arrived. They're self-obsessed, he says. The time has come for us to talk, not here somewhere. So then that's when they go to the Fortress of Solitude. My fortress, how did you... I had been here before, after all. You're responsible for global chaos. I did nothing but present you with options. They had a choice between darkness and light. So like I said before, if you don't want to know who Mr. Oz is, turn the video off now. Darkness won. They embrace murder, mayhem, destruction. You call them humans. You aren't of Earth? No. Had I only known what a cesspool this place is, I'd never sent you I would have sent you somewhere better. Sent? What are you talking about? Who are you? And that's when we come to find out. He takes his mask off, or takes his hood off, and then we see him. It says, you can't possibly mean I am exactly that. Dun dun dun. He's Jor-El. He's Superman's dad. He survived somehow. And he's been doing all these things for some unknown reason for some time now. But he says, I survived, Kal-El. And I know now that I sent you the wrong place. I am your father. Woo! Man's messed up. Looking like Cyborg Superman over here. But anyway, so now we see him. And now we're all wondering, how did he get these other abilities? You know, like, did they manifest because he's from Krypton? Or how's he doing all this stuff? You know, maybe he got it from the scythe that he uses. But the next issue is the secret origin of Mr. Oz. And that's pretty much it. You know, it's kind of a short issue. There was definitely a cringe fest in here of sorts, but it's also pretty good stuff. You know, every issue can't be good, but let's think about this for a minute, okay? So you had that scene with all the things going on. You had that cringe fest with the illegal immigrants that they had to throw in there. I know you have to deal with issues that are going on now and kind of jazz them up to make them seem more, you know, big. But let's think about this. So they threw that SJW stuff in there. But at the same time, they disproved it because they showed that it was Mr. Oz doing all this and not the regular people doing it. So in reality, they told you that that's not real, it's made up. Think about that one. Did they do that intentionally, or did they just not think that we would think that way? Think about that one. Thank you. But anyway, tell me guys what you think about this. I had to read this one first. I was just super excited to find out who Mr. Oz was, and now that I know, I'm completely shocked. I thought it was going to be either him or Osmodeus from The Watchmen. I had no idea it would be his dad, so they got me on this one. But anyway, guys, let me know what you think. Hit the thumbs up, hit the notifications button, and tell me if you think this is going to end well for Superman. But I'll talk to you later, guys. Underground Geek out.